an entrepreneur and you're a business owner and you obviously want people to see you, then keep your cameras on. For those of you who are looking to acknowledge the principle of the day, I'll tell you which one it is in a minute. But for most people, I discovered partners for dancing. A lot of people say that. I thought that in the beginning. I was introduced to the idea of partnership early in real estate investing. I was listening to Bigger Pockets, and they said, you want to scale up, you got to get partners. And then the other guy was like, no, man, partners will kill you. And so I had this conflict. I wasn't sure if partnership made any kind of sense. So I went to my mentor, and my mentor said these words to me. And I never forgot them. They ring in my head. He said, partners are for dancing. If you want to lose money, get into partnerships. And so for 5 years, I would not entertain the idea of partnerships. And I worked hard and I stayed small and I would just buy and grind. And anytime somebody would come to me and say, what do you think about partnering up? I'm like, nope, partners are for dancing. It was just like ingrained into my mind. I kept saying it. And I shifted companies and I worked for this guy who had 300 apartments, 300 rental units. And he had three partners. And I asked him one day, I said, man, like, why do you have three partners? Like, partners are for dancing. Like, he actually asked me, he said, why don't you scale up? He said, why don't you increase the scale? I said, I was like, I'm trying. I don't know how. And he said, well, have you considered partners? And I was like, no, man. Again, I said the stupid sentence, partners for dancing. And he looked at me, he was like, I have two partners. I said, yeah, why do you do that? Like, why does that even make sense? He said, well, they're better than me. Like, these two guys are better than me at the thing that I want to be good at. So, Doreen, can I help you? Is there something you're looking for in this call? They're downstairs where they always are. Let's give Doreen a round of applause. Yeah, they're right in my bag where they always are. So Dorina is running a baby shower today. So she may be in and out all over the place. She's got her priorities. For us, we're here to double our income and double our net worth. True or true? That's why we show up every single Saturday. For the last 23 Saturdays, it's been about increasing income. Some of you have been around here for 5 years. Show of hands, been around for 5 years. Where our OGs at? Doug, Mitch, Michael. Ron is sick. He just dropped his daughter off at the airport in Boston, so he's not here. Doreen has been here for 5 years. Some of you 4 years. Some of you 3 years. Some of you 2 years. Some of you 1 year. Show of hands if you joined in the first 1 or 2 years. That's your second or third season. First or second season? Awesome. Give yourselves a round of applause. For those of you who are new, we go through a journey called the 52 Weeks to Wealth. We are now in week 23 on this journey. So the journey is designed to help you increase income, which means we're talking about sales, we're talking about business, we're talking about marketing, and we're talking about growing and developing your personal mindset so you can keep increasing. We're also here to increase net worth, which means we acquire assets, which are typically going to be real estate-based assets, but also business assets work for the same cause. So as we go through today's principle, I want you to keep that in mind. Wealth principle, well, I haven't said it yet. Welcome back, alchemists. This is the 52 Weeks to Wealth. My name is Walter Morell. We're doing Wealth Principle 23, which is the power of partnerships. So as I was talking about all the negative things that I learned, there are also some positives to partnerships. The first thing I discovered in partnerships is it's easier to scale. I can make more money. So write down these three things that you can definitely do with partnerships that you can't do by yourself. I was able to pass off responsibility to people who had ownership of a task. And three, I was able to raise capital and I didn't have to bring my money to deals anymore. I was able to scale up and increase the amount of work I was able to do, the access to deals, the access to knowledge, the access to resources. I was able to increase the opportunities, the leverage of offloading work. And I was also able to increase the amount of capital I was putting into deals. Now, there are different types of partnerships. We won't go super deep into them today. The main one I'm going to talk about is the 50-50 partnership. This is your main partnership. This is between the visionary and the integrator, the main people who are pushing hard inside the business. Show of hands if you have a business, if you run a business, own a business, or are in a partnership as well. Excellent. Now, most entrepreneurs at some point don't have a retirement plan. There's only really one retirement plan for the entrepreneur, and that is to sell the business. That is typically the entrepreneur's retirement plan. Or the second one is they hope their kids are interested, or they eventually bring on a partner into the business who will run it for them. There's another alternative. You can buy real estate. So a lot of entrepreneurs realize that the alternative to the business, which by the way, businesses typically will die within 7 years, and they have a boom bust cycle where you got to go back and reinvest in them every 7 years. So that's a lot of work. Whereas real estate is pretty much a stable amount of work all the way through. It's work. Don't get me wrong. It'll always be work. But real estate tends to be less work than a business. Show of hands, real estate investors, if we agree. The business is a lot more work. There's still work on the properties, but it's a lot easier to manage. It's a lot easier to find replacements. So what's in it for you today? We're going to talk about partnerships, how to identify good partners. We're going to talk about how to evaluate whether a partnership is worthy of you or not, and also how to identify how much time you should be spending on your business and seeking partnerships. So we're going to talk about very quickly identifying potential partners, initiating the dialogue itself, and establishing partnership agreements. So defining where you belong and where they belong. Show of hands if this would be important to figure out earlier than later. I agree. My first partnership was a failure. My first partnership, we'd done pretty well with each other. My first partnership was actually my marriage. And we turned out to be able to produce two rental properties. We did a flip, we did two rental properties, and then it all went to shit. And I learned very quickly that the contracts you sign, whether it's a marriage contract or a business contract or a partnership agreement, are really going to be important because the documents you sign, if you don't put contingencies upon them, then at the end you end up with whatever the government says is right for that agreement or contract. Show of hands if you've ever been through an experience like that and you know what I'm talking about. You've ever been through a divorce or a failed partnership or a disagreement with somebody and things just didn't work out the way you wanted them to in the end. We can plan. We can plan for the end in mind. We can keep the end in mind. Stephen Covey's book, he talks about that as one of the principles for highly successful people. He says, keep the end in mind. Start with the end in mind. So let's dive into this very quickly. Number one reason for partnerships is strength in numbers. As a species, we do better because we're not isolated. We're a social species, and we've been able to survive. By the way, we dominate the planet. True or true? Who agrees? We are the dominant force here. If at any moment we decide a species doesn't belong, we can kill them. In fact, we have to be careful with that because we've wiped out more species in the last 100 years than any other creature has ever in the history of time. So show of hands if we're also a very dangerous species on some level. Like we have responsibilities. With great power comes great responsibility. So we're what's called an apex predator. And what separates us from all the other apex predators on the planet is we hunt in packs, and we also have something called persistence hunting, where most apex predators can run in fast, sharp bursts for a short period of time, including wolves, including lions and bears and tigers, all these big apex predators of the wild. They run in fast, short bursts, coordinated attacks. Humans can run for 8 hours, 12 hours. We can run for 32 days straight. We don't stop hunting the prey. We just keep going and going and going. Show of hands if you ever consider that. It's amazing. Like some of these humans can do these big marathons, right? 25-mile marathons, 60-mile marathons, 30-day marathons, where they just run. They can run through the desert for days and days on end. That's your ancestors. That's the people. You come from the same genetic makeup as these people who are doing these amazing tasks. So we as a species have strength in numbers when we partner up, when we work together. The second one is access to new opportunities. When you bring on somebody who has a skill set in a market you've never been in before, but they know it like the back of their hands, like they just understand it. You now have access to be able to invest in that market. All you have to do is bring the one thing they're missing, which is usually capital. Boots on the ground usually lack the capital, and that's why they might bring you into a place. Show of hands if there's markets out there better than yours right now. You're aware of them. There's certainly markets that are better to invest in than yours. Excellent. Show of hands if the only reason you don't invest in those markets is because you either don't have the capital or you don't have the boots on the ground. Those are the only two reasons that you stop from doing it. I agree. Sometimes there should be one more reason. Some of us only invest because we care about the city we invest in. Show of hands if you have a city that you love investing in, that's the only reason you don't invest anywhere else. Anybody on the call? Okay. So I, for a while, loved Fall River. It was the only place I would invest. And so I only looked for partners who wanted to invest in my city. So it allowed me a much more strong way of investing. I was super focused. And I knew how to pick my partners because we had alignment of goals. So it'll give you access to new opportunities. So write this down. Strength in numbers. There is strength in numbers. 1 and 1. Vinny likes to say this. It also comes from Stephen Covey's book. 1 + 1 = 11 when it comes to real estate investing and partnership and business and scale. Because that person, the person you bring on, if you're a visionary, the person you bring on should be an operator. And an operator can manage 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 people. If you're a visionary, you probably don't have that gift. You can probably manage a few people, but you get distracted and have all sorts of thoughts. Show of hands if you're the visionary in your business. Person who has the idea, does the big negotiations, you're always thinking about what to do next. Show of hands if you're an operator. You're an operator in a business. I'm sure we have a few on the call. All right, all right. So the visionaries, which I'm going to talk to mostly because most entrepreneurs are the visionary and most entrepreneurs are lacking their integrator, which is really important. And it makes a lot of sense because only 3% of the population are integrators and 25% of the population are visionaries. Show of hands, we grasp why that exists, why it's so difficult to find an operator, why it's so difficult, why most businesses fail, because they don't have a great partnership with a really strong integrator. So, what we can do about it is we can identify a goal for ourselves and a mutual goal that we'd want our partners to have. The biggest failure you can have in a partnership is misaligned goals. I'll give you an example of misaligned goals. When I was married, the woman that I was married to wanted a house, picket fence, nice cars, and then bigger house, bigger house, bigger house, bigger house, bigger house, bigger house, nicer fence, nicer cars. Show of hands if you've met those people. Yes, we know of them. We've heard of them. I wanted to passively invest into real estate. So I wanted to acquire more real estate, 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 and have more rentals, more rentals, more rentals. I wanted more units. I wanted multifamilies. I didn't want single families. I didn't want luxury. I just wanted more cash flow. I wanted more assets. I wanted to take all my dollars and reinvest them back into assets that cash flowed. Any dollar that wasn't being reinvested into cash flow was a dollar that I felt was being mistreated, misunderstood. It wasn't getting what it wanted. It wanted to grow. It wanted to create cash flow. It wanted to acquire assets. And so we had this real big disagreement. And over time, we started pushing and pushing and pushing against our own goals. We wanted to go, she wanted one direction. I wanted to go in a direction that was different. So fans, if we could have had this conversation early in the business and we would have never gone as committed and made such a mess. Excellent. So one, you got to make sure your goals are in agreement. The easiest way to do this is to write them down. If you wrote them down last week or the week before with us as we were doing vision, then you have your goals. You want to make sure that you have this conversation with any potential partner. And before you reveal yours, it's just like any negotiation. Before you reveal your goals, you want to find the secret to having this conversation. Let them reveal theirs first. Don't reveal your goals until they've revealed theirs so you can ensure that they're not just saying something to convince you that you're in alignment. Because believe it or not, there are some people out there, but they don't even know they're doing it. They're just like, yeah, I'm totally down with that. That's what I do. Yeah, that's what. Then they'll just copy whatever you said because you seem to be an advancing person. You seem to know what you're doing. So they're going to copy your goals. Be careful with that. I share my goals as a recruiting tool, right? I'm sharing my goals as a way to bring people in because I have other tools to identify if this person is going to go all the way or not. Is this person really who they say they are? Show of hands if you'd like to know what some of those tools are. I may reveal them later on throughout the call. Awesome. And if you're wondering what the book of the week is, we will reveal that towards the end of the call. And if you'd like to go through one of our mindset sessions with Doug McGurk, who's on the call right now, why am I wearing Mission to Million shirt? I'll explain all of this throughout the call today. So number two, after you've gotten clear goals and you've communicated them with each other and you've validated and made sure that you truly are in alignment, you go to the next step, which is clear communication and collaboration, documenting how you want to communicate with each other, how often you want to communicate, and what type of communication you want to have, and then how you communicate, what format, what platform, what words are important for you to be communicating, what topics. In business, I'll give you three that are really relevant at all times. First is sales. How are we generating more sales? How are sales going? Who is in charge of sales? Communicating on sales weekly, daily, monthly, quarterly, just checking in because that's the lifeblood of the business. So fans, if your business must make money in order to survive. All of them, right? Real estate investing. So you may be looking at vacancy of units. How are we selling our units? How are we getting more units filled? What rate are we putting our units at? Is it $1,200 a month? Is it $24,000 a month? Like, what is the rent rate that we belong putting into our units and communicating that at a consistent level? Another form of communication that you want to stay honest about is your actual operations, how we do what we do. How do you see us operating in this business? How do you see us communicating with our customers? How do you see us raising capital or passively investing or selling property or buying property? How do you see us working with our contractors, our plumbers, electricians? How do we treat them? What kind of conversation do we have with them? How often do we talk to them? What are we touching base? Who's responsible for those communications? So, fans, we understand this is all communication before the partnership begins. This is all the dialogues that have to happen in order for us to survive the first 2 years of a partnership. By the way, most partnerships die in 2 years. The ones that survive to 4 years are either absolutely amazing or absolutely terrible. They're on their way out. So partnerships start with great communication early on. And if it takes you 6 months, a year to start a partnership, I think you've done it right. Perfect. Maybe it takes 2 years to form a partnership. Ron and I, although he's not on today's call, he literally just got back from a 2 a.m. drive to Boston to drop his daughter off at the airport. He and I have been in business for 9 years. The only way you survive partnerships in 9 years, he and I talked and worked together on other projects as just colleagues in other things. We were both agents in the same office, and we did that for 2 years before we started partnering with each other. He knew what kind of person I was. I knew what kind of person he was. And we would talk about our goals often. And naturally, it just kind of came out that we're moving in the same direction. We want the same sort of things. And we'd be willing to work with each other with our complementary differences. I was a visionary and he was an integrator. So, fans, if that's important, to take the time to communicate and collaborate. All right, so we're gonna shift a little bit because I want you to take action every single week. Every single week you come into the 52 weeks of wealth. My goal for you is to become more effective in your business and in your real estate career. And I talk about business and real estate career, and I want to hit this for the people who are new, who are just coming on for the first time. Every successful real estate investor has a job. Every successful real estate investor on the planet has a form of active income or has an active operations business. Most of us, it's flipping. Most of us are flipping, or we're realtors, or we're mortgage brokers, or we're attorneys, or we're contractors, or we're coaches, or we have communities, or we sell something. Show of hands if we understand we have operational businesses that then allow us to invest in real estate. But the really successful people, their operational business is so intertwined with the real estate investment business that it generates leads for them. So it looks like we're just operating as investors, but really in wholesalers are another example of somebody who's running a marketing business in the real estate space to find themselves more deals. This makes sense. There are operation companies. That's why we talk about business on the 52 Weeks of Wealth, because that's how you scale up your investment career. And then the other side of it, once you have your money or once you have deals and leads, you can drop that money and organize it into a form of investment. So for our community leaders, where are my community leaders at? Show of hands if you run a community. Yeah, we usually monetize our communities through either doing deals with each other, through partnering up on deals, through raising capital for other investors, or through bringing deals to other investors, or for actually doing operations of the deals. Some of you are coaches, some of you are realtors, some of you are mortgage brokers. There's a lot of different reasons. Some of you are nutrition coaches. There's a lot of reasons you might build a community and then transfer that community into deals. So we're going to go into action steps. And the reason action steps are so important is because as much as I'd love to say you can think and grow rich, and I love the book, it's part of our foundational 5, it really takes action, right action. So right thought, write this down if you haven't heard this before. Right thought, correct thought creates correct action. And then correct action done over time creates desired results. Wrong action creates lessons. Right action creates desired results. And so it's only action that can actually create what you're looking for in life. So first we learn it, then we do it, and then we can teach it, delegate it, or automate it. So fans, if you'd like to get to the point where everything's automated for you, it's all delegated, it's all other people doing things. Show of hands if you want to have massive impact in the world. You want to teach a lot of people how to do what they want to do, how to get their freedom. So it first takes doing it. It takes learning it, doing it, and then you can teach it. Show of hands if you're committed to building 100 millionaires as you build your own wealth. Excellent. Let's give everybody on this call a round of applause. I love the commitment to all of our leaders, all of our investors, all of our mentors. Keep paying it forward. So let's dive into action steps. First, we want to identify potential partners. This doesn't have to be a human being. This is a position. It's very much like Brian Kent talks about in his book, The R Factor. You have roles. The R stands for relationships. You have roles for people. So first you identify the role that may be missing inside your business, and then you identify the people later on. But first, you need to know what you're not good at. So today, we're just going to rate really quickly, what are the 3 roles that are missing in your business? By the way, deals, money, labor. That's the function of all business. All business requires deals, money to do the deals, and then labor to fulfill upon the promises and the deals. So first, which one are you good at and which ones are missing? Every business probably or eventually will require 3 partners. Every business eventually, the strong businesses have 2 partners. The greatest businesses have 3 partners. If you look at the greatest businesses, they always had a minimum of 2 partners, but most had 3. So in that partner, the third partner usually is an employee on the major, larger businesses, but sometimes they're equity partners. And I love the equity process because it forces people to stick together when they normally would just say, this got too hard, I'm out. So equity is really important. So write this down: deals, money, labor, and then identify which one you are, and that will tell you automatically what you're missing, what partnerships you may want to look into and bring into your business. So identify potential partners, potential roles. And very quickly, just write this down: deals, money, labor. And which one are you good at? Put your name under that, and you're gonna have a big question mark on the other two. Just question mark under, around, or circle them and just say, like, these two I've got to go work on. Number two, you're going to start seeking out people who have those strengths. Don't seek out both at the same time. Seek out the one you need the most. Seek out the one that is the most pressure for you, the one that really does need to be replaced. If it's money, if it's deals, if it's labor, you just seek that one out next because that will automatically level you up. You get instant gratification. So seek out that person. Step 2A is initiate a dialogue. Initiate a dialogue not with one person, but with many people who fit that role. The more you talk to people, the less desperate you become. And desperation causes mistakes. Has anybody ever made a mistake because they were desperate for help? You got trapped into something because you're like, oh, whoever's closest will work. We'll make it work. We'll make it work. I'm good at making it work. I can flex. I can compromise. It's okay. I'm really good at, overcompensating for other people's failures. Show of hands if you're tired of overcompensating for other people's failures. Excellent. Excellent. So what I'm going to ask you to do is increase the amount of people you speak to who are exactly like that one that you're looking to replace. And as you talk to more and more people, you're going to see the options that become available. You're going to slowly start moving towards the right answer. You're going to slowly start moving towards the right person. So I want you to initiate dialogue with the thing you're missing the most, as many as you possibly can, minimum of 10. Show of hands if we understand the assignment. This is an action step for this week. This is not a thing to do tomorrow. It's not this thing to do tomorrow. It's not a thing you do next week or the week after or the week after or a month from now or a year from now. You want success today. So you must start initiating these dialogues today. Start initiating these conversations with these persons. And now the next step was the next person. All right, that you can do next week. And you can even use the partner you just brought on to help you with that dialogue because that's what partners do. They seek out the third. They seek out that next person who's going to really lock things down. So deals, money, labor. Initiate the dialogue. Number 3, establish partnership agreements. These won't happen overnight. They won't. This will take time. This will take a time, an adjustment. The idea, though, is before you get into a deal, and you should always do a small deal first, a beta test, a small deal, just to make sure that you didn't make some mistakes, that you didn't you address everything. Me, Greg, and Dorina, we're now working on deals together. We just closed on a 35 units in, I want to say it was August of last year. It was August or September. It was right before the 100 Millionaire Summit. We closed on 35 units. And I told Greg then, I said, I'll never do a deal this small again. I'm doing it as a beta test. You and I and Dorina, we're just working out and seeing if we can buy property this way. If Dorina can do the financing, if I can do the capital raising, and if Greg can do the management, if he can manage these deals properly, then we'll know we can do it at scale. And over the last it's like 8, 9 months, we've been learning each other, like learning how we dialogue, learning how we communicate, learning how these things work, learning how the partnership agreement should be formed as we're scaling up and going to that next level. So what I want you to do is think about establishing partnership agreements. And you don't have to go to an attorney to do this right away. You will want to go to the attorney to seal the deal. But in order to save you a ton of money and a ton of time and a ton of confusion, you should communicate as much as you possibly can before going to an attorney to write up your agreement. You can go to an attorney and ask questions. Go in and say, hey, what questions should we be asking each other? What should be written in the contract? But make sure that's a quick conversation. You're writing it all down because attorneys charge by the hour and they're very, very expensive. Most of the conversation should happen between you and your spouse, and then you and your partner. Make sure that you're communicating any new partnerships with anybody with your spouse as well, because your spouse is your greatest partner. So, if we understand the assignments, excellent. We're going to establish partnership agreements through communication. Awesome. Now, our goal every single year is to increase the amount of millionaires we built. Over the last 4 years, we built 30 millionaires. So give yourselves a round of applause if you're one of those millionaires, or if you're one of the foundational group who helped us build over the last 5 years building millionaires. We're in year 5. We're looking to increase the amount of people that we are building millionaires through. And I realized this morning that the only way I'm going to get to 100 this year is if I really ramp up the amount of people we're working with, which is why we've started building Alchemist Nation events across the country. We're now up to 22 events that are operational. Let's give all of our leaders a round of applause. 22 groups that are committed to building 100 millionaires each. And it takes 3 to 5 years to build a millionaire, but occasionally we get somebody who's close, somebody who's a real action taker, somebody who just slams a deal and does it. In fact, Ken Ingram was just talking about a deal where he's going to make almost $2 million over the next 2 years. But immediately upon close, which he's got the clear to close, he'll be making at least $1 million a day he closes. Show of hands if it's possible to do a deal in 60 days and make $1 million. Let's give Ken Ingram a big round of applause for showing us again that it is possible. My deals are nice, but I'm Gwalter, so like anything I do wins. This is Ken's first real estate deal in years. He hasn't done one in a long, long time. Why was he able to do it in 60 days? Because he had a decision to do it, and he went out and he was committed. His wife was on board. He was in our mastermind. He was forced. He was virtually forced to go and put in offers. And he's passionate about putting himself into a challenging situation and learning and growing. So if you can model some of those same exact thoughts and beliefs. Loving the challenge. Awesome. All right. So coming up, we have Doreen asked me to talk about Mission to Millions. Show of hands if you've heard of this before. Mission to Millions, you know what it is? Excellent. So for those of you who are new, Mission to Millions is a program that I went through about a decade ago. And I was so inspired by it. It actually turned me on to creating Alchemist Nation, to helping others and investing in the mindsets of other human beings. So Alchemist Nation would not have existed if I hadn't gone to Mission to Millions. It was designed to teach me how to take my passion and purpose for helping people and tie it to my skill set of real estate and merge the two worlds and bring the two worlds together. So now every day I wake up passionate. I wake up on purpose. I know what I'm doing. I know why I'm here. And I'm able to effectively say no to anybody who is a distraction. So if you'd like to be able to say no to more people who are distracting you, stealing your time, taking away from you. So if you'd like to be able to know exactly what to say yes to. So it's like a fuck yes. It's like, this is exactly in alignment with my life. So I wanted that too. So I went to this event called Mission to Millions. I'll be honest, when I was offered the package, I bought the package. I spent, I think, $12,000, and it came with 5 or 6 events. And I'm going to list off the names of these events, and you'll understand why I say what I say. Because in the beginning, I didn't want to go to Mission to Millions. I didn't. I was in a time where I wanted to make my first $100,000. I was in a time where I wanted to make my first $250,000 net worth, and I was just focused on growing. I was focused on growth. And they gave me these 6 events, this package of 6 events. And it was called, let me see, it was, oh, thanks, Gary. So hopefully Doug can get his internet stable so we can do our exercise together. So I was told that this event, it was called Quantum Leap. Now, has anybody ever heard of Quantum Leap? Anybody familiar with what a quantum is? It's like a big jump, right? So a Quantum Leap. And so I paid for it, scared, by the way, scared, nervous. I didn't have the money. I put it on a credit card. I was nervous. And I don't think anybody should do this, right? I'm telling you what I did. This is what, like, I was desperate, right? So I was in a crazy spot in my life, and I was like, whatever, this program is going to get me to where I want to go, because it had these 6 programs in it. The first was Guerrilla Business School. I was like, okay, they're going to teach me guerrilla business tactics, guerrilla marketing tactics, guerrilla sales tactics, like outside of the norm. And I was like, that's what I need, because this normal shit's not working for me anymore. Anybody notice that the normal stuff doesn't work? You need aggressive, different, unique tactics. And they were telling me these tactics were going to be in alignment with my mission and my purpose. And I was like, how the heck are they going to do that? But okay, I'll sign up. And then the second one was Never Work Again. It was all passive income streams. It was all these different business models for passive income streams, buying businesses, buying real estate, how to, do stock options and all these different things. And I was like, okay, I felt like a cocky motherfucker. I was like, I know that shit. I'm just going to do real estate. So I ignored that class. I was like, oh, I don't need that one. And then there was another one called Train the Trainer. And Train the Trainer was designed to teach you how to speak, how to sell from stage. And I said, that's one I need, but I don't even know how to apply it. So I'm going to go to Guerrilla Business School. And then there was another one called Master of Influence. And Master of Influence was going to teach me how to build an audience, how to build influence, and how to negotiate with people so that they always saw my way. And so I said, man, if I went to Guerrilla Business School and Master of Influence, I've gotten everything that I need. And one day I'll go to Train the Trainer. Anybody ever do things like this where you think, like, just top priorities, this is what I need? Then there's this other class they gave us. It was called Mission to Millions. And I'm laughing. I'm like, mission, find your purpose, your passion, or get paid to do the things that you want to do. I was like, whatever, man. I just want to make money. Like, I don't care about this woo-woo shit. I know this sounds crazy because of the man I am today, but this was my mindset. I literally just thought Mission Millions was like a blow-off class, but I paid for it. So I showed up. It happened to be, I got very blessed and very lucky. It happened to be the first class in the series. So I went, and I don't cry ever in public, ever. And I cried every single day for 3 days straight because I realized I was taking my life and saying it didn't matter. I was taking the purpose that I had on this planet and saying that didn't matter. I just got to make money. And I was taking the happiness I could deliver to other people and saying that doesn't matter because I got to make money. And I kept putting money in front of everything that would make I said, I'm not going to the gym because I got to make money. I'm not going to teach because I got to make money. I'm not going to give to anybody because I got to make money. I'm not going to do charities because I got to make money. I'm not going to donate my time because I got to make money. It was like constantly just the belief system kept me from being a happy human being. Has anybody ever fallen into that trap before? And so for 3 days straight, it was pounding in my head. It's okay to do what you love. It's okay to do good work, to do things for other people, and it's okay to get paid for that. And as I went through Mission to Millions, I started realizing like I really I really want to be a father one day. I realized I was like, I would actually like to do that. And I said, and I also realized I really want to help entrepreneurs discover how business actually works. Now, I didn't know myself, so I was going to go to Guerrilla Business School and figure that shit out. But I knew that I wanted one day to do what the guys on stage were doing for me. I knew one day I wanted to transform lives. I wanted to change the lives of the people who were on in the rooms that I was in. I wanted to change people's lives who were just like me. And Mission to Millions woke my mind up. And I woke up every day after that with chills, just being like, I know what I'm here for. I know what I'm doing. I had purpose. I had a level of energy that I never had. And that year I made my 6 figures and it was easy. It was effortless because I knew one thing, help more people. That's what I learned at Mission to Millions. For me, it was help more people. I knew how to help them now. I knew specifically what my zone of genius was. It was teach real estate investing. I didn't get paid for teaching. I got paid for closing deals. I got paid for partnerships. I got paid for raising capital. But I was teaching because loved giving the knowledge that I had acquired. Anybody like that? Anybody here love teaching others, showing others the way, empowering others? Awesome. Let's give Ellie a round of applause. She's on the call too. She loves teaching. So I loved empowering others. And I learned that at Mission to Millions that it was okay to teach. It was okay to put myself out on camera and to do these things. And I didn't want to do the camera thing, but I did want to teach. Anybody feel that? You didn't want to do things, but you want to do a thing? It's so weird. Contradiction. So uh, when the company who taught that program went out of business and stopped teaching it, a part of me died inside. A part of me said, man, that's messed up. Like a great thing in the world is missing. There's a great thing in the world that was really like saved my life and saved a lot of other people's businesses and careers. And I said, that's missing. It's a big gap in the marketplace. It needs to come back. And fortunately, that was around the time that I met Doug McGurk and we started building Alchemist Nation around the same time. And Doug said, if you want to teach something that I can teach that. He's like, I did that with Tony Robbins for years. In fact, Doug was training with T. Harv Eker, who ran Mission to Millions. He's T. Harv's original person who created Mission to Millions. And Doug was actually training to be one of his teachers. He was actually training with T. Harv, learning the process, learning the scripts, learning what they say, learning how the stage works, learning about the exercises. He did it with Tony for 3 years, and then he shifted over, was going to do it with T. Harv, and then the business went out of business. The company that was teaching that program just disappeared. They had sold the business 2 times, and the new owners just let it drop. Show of hands if you understand. The first generation builds it, the second generation maintains it, and the third generation loses it. So that's what had occurred in that business. And so me and Doug said, would you be interested in doing it? And Doug was like, yes, absolutely, all day. So Mission to Millions is coming up this weekend, not this weekend, but next weekend. And we have the great Doug McGurk and his wife, Heidi Rain, teaching Mission to Millions again for the 5th year in a row. Let's give them a big round of applause. Doug, can you walk us through an exercise? Before we do, if anybody has not already registered for Mission to Millions, it is an online training this year. It's $97. So if you have the problem of not being able to afford $97, my God, you have bigger problems. This may help solve that. If you understand your purpose and your passion, and if you're saying, I don't have the time to spend 3 days to figure out, what my passion is and tie it to my $1 million plan, I get it. I didn't think I had it either. Unlike you, I paid $12,000 to get access to that course. So I hope that you can understand how important your life is and how important the lives of the people you could impact are and how little you're doing right now. I think if you understood how little you are actually accomplishing, how little you're actually doing, and how much you have to do, then you would say all day, I've got all weekend. I could spend all week. I could spend all month. If I just learned this one time, I'd be fueled and fired for the rest of my life. Just take it with that level of certainty. And if you're like, man, okay, of course there's a pitch. He pitched a $97 course. That's what he's selling here. No, my friend, I'm just selling you on a solution for your problem. I'm just giving you an opportunity, and I've just got to be able to pay for the website that I built to put this thing up. So the $97 just goes to the website and the traffic. Show fans if that makes sense. You're not going to get rich selling a $97 program to 83 people, I assure you. This is also, if you're like, that's going to happen around again, this doesn't happen. This is going to only happen this year, and it may be different next year. And if you're waiting an entire year to find your purpose, you're missing an entire year of opportunity. So I didn't want to sell you. I hate selling, but if you're one of those people who needed me to just tell you those couple things so you could make that decision, then that's why I did it for. So everybody else who's on the call is like, oh, fuck, I hate selling. I don't know what to tell you. Go somewhere else. But for everybody who wants to join Mission Millions, the link is in the chat. It's mtm.alchemiststation.com. And if you're wondering, do I have time to do it? Yes, of course you do. Unless you're 97 years old and you're about to die, in which case you're right. You're running out of time. Maybe you should just figure out what to do in your last couple years of life, because we only get one shot at this. So Doug McGurk's going to walk us through an exercise. Before he does, I'm going to do the book of the week. Who here read last week's book of the week? Fast Track to Millions by Michael Shine. Anybody read that book before? All right. Well, I have. So this week's book of the week is Deborah Felder's got it. So this week's book of the week is brought to you by Michael Shine, the holistic attorney, the closer, the keeper of the books. He and I spent 2 hours, 2 times, trying to figure out the perfect books that go to each one of these wealth principles, each one of these 52 wealth principles. And these are the books we have chosen because they are the best. 5 years into it, every year, Mike and I review the books. And every year, these books stand solidly with a minor adjustment of a few. I will tell you that we're looking to put money hacks and we're looking to put the R factor into the 52 weeks to wealth. So this goes to each person on this call. If you identify a wealth principle that would be better served with either the R factor or with money hacks, please send us an email and let us know so that we can go and make that adjustment. We will review it and we'll put it in front of the panel of millionaires and let them take a look at it as well. So it's not a judgment if you're wrong. It's just a decision that millionaires are making because millionaires build millionaires. Show fans, we understand the philosophy here. So any pitch you give to us, we will absolutely look into. And what we come up with at the end is verify that this was the right move. But we are looking to put those two into the process somewhere. That being said, Michael Shine, let's give Mike Shine a big round of applause. The keeper of the books, the holistic attorney, the closer, Michael Shine. What is this week's book of the week?
This week's book of the week is Rocket Fuel by Gino Wickman. I remember doing this review last year because, we've been doing this for like 5 years. And I always tell people that this is the second book. And what's the first one, Walter? I forgot now. Jeez. Before Rocket Fuel. Thank you. Traction. Thank you. So Gino wrote a book called Traction, which is like an operating system for your business. And it's amazing because it sets out all the different roles that everybody does. Mitch in the background. That's so awesome. And so the operating system is kind of amazing. It tells you all the different roles. And even if there's only one person in your company, you take out all the roles. And then you, as you hire new people, you delegate those roles until you've got lots of people working in your organization. But at the top of every organization, there is a visionary and there's an integrator. And so what Gino Wickman did with the second book, Rocket Fuel, is tells you how to the combination of those two people. Like Walter was talking about how a really successful business has 3 people at the top. Well, at minimum, they have to have a visionary and an integrator. And you could read this book, or you could just hang out with Walter, because if you've ever seen Walter and Ron work together, it's the perfect example of a visionary, Walter, and Ron, his integrator. I mean, obviously now he's got Darina in there too. There's lots of other people, Mark, et cetera, Gary, all being pulled in there. But at the very beginning, the visionary was Walter and Ron was the integrator. And it's a joy to watch. Those two together, just creating things left and right. And that's what this book tells you to do. I recommend reading it, even if you, like I said, even if you've only got one person right now, because it's really good to know where you're going. So, it's like if you're working on your business, whether that's real estate investment or some sort of entrepreneurial adventure, it's good to just know, have a pathway. I mean, that's super important. So if you are the visionary, you can start going out to look for an integrator. And there are people out there that they love that kind of stuff. I mean, that's the whole disc profile that, there's somebody who wants to get out there and has a great idea, but then there's somebody else who says, yeah, I'll take any idea and I can integrate it. I can make it amazing. So highly recommend Traction to start and then follow it up with Rocket Fuel. It will rocket fuel your business. And yeah, that's what I got. Thank you. Yay, Mitch.
Let's give Michael Shine a big round of applause. He's the keeper of the books, the holistic attorney, the closer. He's a personal friend. So if you've noticed, Mitch, Mike, they're all over the house right now. That's because we're doing our wedding baby shower for Dorina and the baby coming. So we've got, I think it's 45 guests, many of which flew from Rhode Island, from Massachusetts. It came from the East Coast of Florida. Come up, come down, all over the place. So it's been a really cool, busy weekend. We're really just blessed to be able to celebrate with our friends. These are people who we've built massive businesses with. Doug is on his way over. Gary's coming over later. These are people who we've built really, really cool, impactful businesses with. And it's just a blessing to be in a community like this. So each one of you has the opportunity to be in the life that you want, surrounded by the people that you want. I think that's what Alchemist Nation really stands for and what we're doing. Doug, I know you don't have the best service right now. What can you do for us? Let's experience this.
Well, I just wanted to thank you. It's good to go out there and hand. I'm on the every other word plan here. It's been cutting in and out, so it'd be unfair to even try to do a close dive. But one of the things I wanted to share, obviously, we're going to see you shortly. We had a thing. We came up here this early because we were speaking of partnership, had an event on Thursday with someone who doing some work with, and he just invited me to meet more people to connect. And exactly to your point, like, we want to find out who and what the person we're communicating with is looking for and wanting before we share, because we're really going to be able to then know whether or not we can help them and customize that offer. The other thing I wanted to share quickly is I don't want to argue with you, Walter, but I want to suggest something. So for everybody here, if you had a real estate opportunity that was, say, you had to put, say, 10,000 down, 15,000 down, and you knew that by investing that $10,000, you do some work, you'd stretch yourself, and then you were able to get a return and maybe make 20 or 30,000 on it, would we do that? Who would do that? All day, every day.
So far, I don't disagree with you. So far, we're on board.
A good start, yeah. Here's where I just wanted to address when you had shared that you didn't think that we may be frozen. That we back? Cool. That you had shared you had invested in yourself the $12,000 to Quantum, and did you get a return on that?
Not immediately, but yes, absolutely.
Oh,
Absolutely.
I'm sorry. When we do real estate, do we get a return immediately?
No, never.
Huh. So I'm just throwing out there the possibility that our most valuable investment before real estate is ourselves, to be able to then go out and do those investments, which all are up here. And that $10,000, $12,000, $20,000 investment in yourself, although at first you're going, what the heck? It's actually the best investment that anyone can ever make. And I've found this time and time again. Every successful person who has done something like that says, I wish I'd done that sooner. That was the best investment ever. It gave me the tools I needed necessary to be able to take the chances, to build the team, to put myself in the environment that then allows me to be that successful, right? Why do you invest in the diamond package at conferences?
Why do I spend the big tickets for 10x for Grant Cardone? It's because everybody else who's in 10x in the diamond package also spent $15,000 to be there. Quality of the room. I spend money to be in the right rooms. That's why.
There you go. So just bear that in mind when we see these opportunities. And yeah, Billy, love it. You know, be, do, have. You've got to be that person. So that's how you invest in yourself, to be that person so that you can take those actions, which then you will experience said results. So just wanted to throw that out there to really have an understanding that everyone, you're on this call, you are your most valuable investment. And when you join us in Mission to Millions, that's what we're going to work on, is help you align your purpose, your passion, your mission emotionally, spiritually, and then we can take those actions that are congruent and sustainable so that we could get those holistic results.
Let's give Doug McGurk a big round of applause. Doug Maximizer McGurk. Man, I'll tell you what, Doug, you're right. None of the results that you want will happen overnight, but each one of you does deserve better results, and it does mean you have to do better work. Who here has heard you can't get rich through hard work alone? Who's heard this? But who's also heard that you got to work hard to get rich? Who's heard this? You got to work hard. You got to grind. You got to do things that other people don't want to do. Here's what the truth is. You've got to do right work, and the right work starts up here, because this decides everything that you do from that day forward. And you've got to do highly leveraged work, and you got to lever up over time. I was watching Jordan Peterson the other day, and he said that success incrementally goes up. Those who do successful things tend to end up more successful. And it starts like a curve. You start with small steps, but if you're moving in the direction of small steps of success, you seem to go up. But also, he said, people who do unsuccessful things seem to get less and less and worse results. So it's an unfair thing in life, but those who become more successful started with some form of success in a small little curve, and it slowly, gradually goes up. And those who do unsuccessful things slowly lose opportunity, get less and less opportunity. It's harder and harder, becomes more difficult. So it kind of goes in these opposite directions. And so even the smallest step can move you in the direction of success, and taken over time, gradually over and over, you start getting a much higher incline. And I'll tell you that knowing your purpose and your passion is the most fundamental step that you can make. That is the most fundamental core, because it will decide where you end up in life. Show of hands if you know you will die one day, if we're all certain and aware of this. Excellent. They say by 2030 that may change, but for now, we're pretty sure that the odds are not in our favor for living forever. So what do we have to do? We have to decide on the lifestyle we're going to live. So I want to open up to questions, but before we do that, a quick, very fast, very quick mindset exercise. Who is interested in doing a guided meditation to find and only attract the ideal partners from this day forward? Excellent. So with that being said, this is something that Doug McGurk normally does for us because he's a licensed hypnotist. But something you may not know is I too am licensed as a hypnotist. And so we're going to close our eyes and we're going to work on relaxing. Then we're going to take the work out of relaxing. Then we're just naturally going to do it. So we're going to take a deep breath in. And if you want to turn your cameras off, you may, if it feels more comfortable for you. And let it out. Relax. If you are driving, please keep your eyes on the road. You do not have to participate in this exercise with us now. You can always come back and watch it later. We want you to stay focused on what you're doing. So take a deep breath in. And I want you to notice your body and your mind relaxing, feeling better and better, getting yourself to a state of absolute comfort. Take another deep breath in and out and exhale. And notice that you're noticing your breathing better and better. It's easier for you to notice your breathing. Notice the more you see and sense your breathing, the easier it gets to feel good about being in this place. Take another deep breath in and exhale. And as you do, this time you notice you absolutely love the person that you are. And you start noticing one thing that is really cool and special about you. Maybe a thing other people don't notice. And as you're noticing this thing, I want you to smile and just think about how cool it would be if everybody knew how unique you are, and if everybody appreciated you for that uniqueness. Now, as we're thinking slowly, our mind will shift, to other greatnesses that we have, other thoughts and other things we've discovered that we're actually pretty good at. And I want you to start noticing this philosophy that your mind is building a philosophy of intelligent, successful decisions in a very specific arena, intelligent, successful moves in a specific arena, and the ability to identify right action. Noticing it now that you are a person who often takes right action in this arena. You've done it many times. And as you're breathing and as you're feeling this enjoyment of just being in love with who you are, which is, by the way, okay. It's okay to be happy with the being that you have to be no matter what. So might as well fall in love with that person, since anybody who sticks around with you says they love you too, right? Those people are like, yeah, this person's pretty awesome. They must have found something about you that they love and like and respect. So just take a deep breath in and enjoy that for a moment, noticing you're a pretty good partner. You're pretty good to be in a partnership with. You're actually pretty valuable. And I want you to think about what would happen if you increased your skill sets in only the areas you're great at. Just thinking about that for a moment. What if all I did was just the things I'm good at? What if all I did was sharpen the skills that I already have? I could become a master. I could become the greatest. I could become the best at this particular skill. And the more I think about it, the more I realize there are other people who've said, man, I could never do that. Wow, it's so cool that you do that so easily. It's so cool that you love doing that. The more you think about this skill that you have, the more you focus on improvement of that particular skill, the more you hear that statement of, man, wish I had somebody like you in my business. Man, I wish I had somebody like you in my field, in my career, in my life. And as you're noticing that you are a pretty damn good partner, that anybody would be very lucky to be in a partnership with you, I want you to start thinking about the fact that there are people who are better than you at the failures you have. I want you to start looking at your failures as not as a problem, but as a shopping list. I want you to start looking over at those failures, the things that people have made fun of you for, the things that they've said you're not good at this, or the things that you have shamed yourself for not being good at. I want you to start looking at those and saying, of course I'm not good at that. Somebody else's job. That's a shopping list. That's the person I'm going to go look for. The person I'm going to look for has those skills. They do things morally, ethically, legally, because that's all I hang out with. They follow that same framework. That's the reason I'm in Alchemist Nation is I do things morally, ethically, legally. I believe in helping others. So only the people I attract will only feel the same way, obviously, naturally, because I exude this confidence. I exude this belief system in doing the right thing and in making money morally, ethically, legally, helping people along the way. So naturally, I'm going to go shopping. I'm going to find them. And some of it is going to be so weird. Some of it is going to just happen so magically. The more I experience, the more I express my gift, the more I intensify my skill set, the more I will attract the people who that is their weakness. The more I will attract people who are just like me, but with opposite skills, just like me, but with opposite mindsets, just like me, with opposite functions that are necessary for our business to grow together. And I notice, like Walter said earlier, I'll take my time with these relationships. I'll build these relationships. I'll evaluate many people before I make the decision on the ones. And everybody who I ever partner with will still always be under evaluation because people change and goals shift and goals adjust, and that's okay. And I've always set it up so if somebody needs to leave, it's an easy way to get out. Because that's the kind of partnerships I want to be in. The partnerships that want to walk with me. And if at any point we're not in alignment, we have a conversation, we figure it out. And maybe if we have to move to different paths, it's totally okay because we've set each other up in the best way possible. Those are the sort of partnerships that I've become used to, that I attract. I want you to notice now that this is your new decision. It's a decision you've made to only attract the best, to be the very best at what you do so you can allow others to be the best at what they do. Sharing mutually, equally, sharing in ways that make each other feel like you're the luckiest person on the planet. And they are too. Mutually lucky, mutually exclusively lucky to be in this great partnership. I noticed that not everything requires a partnership, but the ones that do are the best partnerships. The deals that you do together, the businesses you build together, the lives you build together with your partners, your friends, the people who you do business with, who you know, like, and trust, and who also know, like, and trust you to grow and expand their lives. And as we're memorizing this feeling and hearing the thoughts and seeing and feeling the experiences that we have in this lifestyle and the way that partnership feels and the way that partnership looks and the way it sounds when we're doing deals together and we're successfully accomplishing things, we're just going to memorize that really quickly and mentally store it into our mind so it lasts forever. So we naturally, automatically only attract the right people because this is how the mind works. The reticular activator is always seeking out the things we know to look for. And now that we've created this space as a gap in our minds that now automatically are being presented to us every day in every way, we're improving ourselves and therefore improving our opportunities for greater and greater partnerships and scaling those over time. Now, as we take a deep breath in and exhale, we're going to come back to the normal room. We're going to turn the cameras back on, and just some of you may have to write this down. Some of you may have to just immediately take pen to paper, take ink to papyrus, and document what you just discovered. Documenting the partnerships that you just discovered are necessary and available to you as well. Putting down your rules, putting down the things that you're best at, documenting very quickly who you're looking for. As you come back to the room with your eyes wide awake, like cool spring water just splashed in your face, feeling awesome and feeling excited about the life and the partnerships you're about to take on, please write down anything that needs to be remembered because we know the subconscious mind cannot be trusted. It's a fickle little bitch. It may just say, yeah, I'll remember this. It's so important, then completely forget it because that's what the subconscious mind is designed to do, keep you comfortable. There's nothing wrong with it because comfort does feel nice sometimes. And it also is what protects you, keeps you on the road when you're driving, when you're going really fast. The subconscious mind just keeps you on the road when you be looking at your cell phone, putting your makeup on, doing your eyelashes, which you shouldn't be doing. I don't have to tell you. But that's what the subconscious mind's job is to keep you right where you have agreed to be. When it comes to changing things, it's not very good at it. So you have to take and create into your environment, which is why we write things down and why we create notifications for ourselves, why we change our calendars, why we change our social media pages, why we change our screen time on our phones. We change our actual houses. Has anybody got whiteboards in their house? Write things on your whiteboards. You're changing your environment. Every time you write on your whiteboard, you're actually changing your environment, changing what you're going to do because your environment will always be more powerful than your willpower. There are people who say, you got to be stronger, you got to be tougher. Those are lies. It is proven, scientifically proven, that people will always adapt to their environment. Good people will do bad things if they're surrounded in an environment where bad things are considered appropriate. Bad people will do good things if they're surrounded in an environment where doing good things is considered appropriate, if they're encouraged to do so. This is human nature. So it's very, very important that you control your environment. Yes, work on your willpower. But what you're really working on is making sure you know where to put yourself, where to spend your time, who to spend your time with, how to position yourself into places that will grow you. You as a human being have the ability to grow in any soil, but you should put yourself in the soil that will help you grow the best. Show fans, if that makes sense. Much like any seed, you can grow in any soil, in any environment, but certain environments will kill you sooner. Certain environments will cripple you. Certain environments will not allow you to be at your greatest. So it's very important as a human being, as somebody with this powerful brain, the most powerful brain on the planet of all species, supposedly, from what we can tell, we are the smartest. True or true? We dominate the planet. Apex predators. That's right. I can't wait. My son is on his way. First thing he's going to do is grasp at everything and put it in his mouth because that's what the apex predator does on this planet. We grab and we take into ourselves. So I just want you to think about that. That is your gift too. Each one of you was born with this innate ability to take into your body things that you either learn, that you see, or that you touch. You can always consume new things, and what you consume will create you into the being that you're going to become. True or true? It's very exciting for me to watch the process very slowly with another human, but I see it in each one of you as you're developing every day, every week, taking on the new challenges. So let's give each one of you a big round of applause. Next week's wealth principle is the power of stick-to-itiveness. And the book of the week will be The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. So this is the midpoint of our career, of our 52 Weeks to Wealth is Wealth Principle 26, which is 2 weeks away. So Wealth Principle 24 is next week. The book of the week will be The Alchemist. Wealth Principle 25 is The Power of Outsourcing. That'll be A Whole New Mind, the book of the week. And then Wealth Principle 26, which is literally the halfway point, but we're in the month of halfway points, is Study the People and Businesses that are performing the way you want your business to perform. And the book of the week is Quit Taking Your Own Bad Advice by Terry Wager, who's also a member in the community. So this week, I want you to contemplate the principle of partnerships, the power of partnerships, and read the book Rocket Fuel. It's a short book. Some of you have already read it, but this will give you freedom. This book and Gino Wickman's philosophy around traction and building businesses, really, really powerful. So I want to open up to questions. I do have a baby shower that I have to go to, so I will have to jump. We'll stick around for 15 minutes of Q&A. And Roland Charles, you're the first. And then Trevor Mills, I'll see you next. First on mute wins.
Yeah, so I want to say, Gaza, once again, I think you have outdone yourself with this session. And I tell people all the time, when you come to the 52 Weeks of Wealth on Saturday, you are literally getting a master class that is worth thousands of dollars, because stuff that you put out there, because I always tell people that 10% of the people are going to always do good, 10% of people are always going to do bad, and 80% of the people are going to go depending on how the strength of the wave, right? And that speaks exactly to what you're talking about in terms of your environment matters, right? And so if anyone who's listening on the call, understand where you put yourself, where you put your family is going to determine your trajectory of life. So put yourself around. It goes also to let me shut up. A great talk. I mean, kudos. I mean, that's well in line with the way I think. And so I think just great. Thank you.
Let's give Roland Charles a big round of applause. He's the leader of Clearwater. So if you are in the Clearwater market, if you're in Florida and you want to touch and base with a lot of entrepreneurs, Roland runs the Clearwater event for Alchemist Nation, and he's a wonderful leader, wonderful coach. He also is a property manager and on the National Board of Property Managers. Also wrote the book, Rental Property Investor Zen Master. So Roland Charles, everybody. Go ahead, Trevor.
What's up, everybody? I agree that was an awesome session as well. I don't know about you guys, but I got more than a page and a half of notes. But actually, last year, Rocket Fuel was one of the first real estate books I picked up, recommended by Pace Morby. He loves that book as well. And I just wanted to add to Mike Shine that not only does the book help you, it actually starts off with, are you the integrator? Are you the visionary? And I swear, when you go through that first part of the book, you're like, oh my gosh, that's me. But then the book also goes deeper into, do I have the best integrator for my business now, or vice versa, the best visionary? And then it gives you a checklist of what your roles are so that you stay in your lanes and have the best partnership possible. And it does go into some examples throughout history of some of the best partnerships, and they can last a long time. But sometimes as the business grows and changes, you might have to change integrators, change visionaries. Really awesome book. I love that book. And I think it was a great session of just writing down a lot of notes about, it's funny. Today I was just talking about, you got to embrace the failure to know that you're progressing. So it's an awesome session today.
Give Trevor Mills a round of applause. He's also a community builder. He's really leveled himself up and paying forward a lot of coaching for people who are just getting started in the flipping space. More questions. We'll take a couple more. And Dorina has asked me to remind each of you that Mission to Millions is mtm.alchemistnation.com. Go ahead, Billy.
What's up, guys? Walter, again, just to reaffirm, amazing. And I'll make this fast to honor your time. And I think I want to leave everybody with something that I think might have been overlooked. And everything in our life right now are the two B's, our beliefs and our behaviors. So if we just pause for a second and imagine Walter's life, I'm going to put a little spotlight on him. If he wasn't willing to challenge his belief that partnerships are only for marriage or dancing, for dancing, right? So every single one of us, including myself and everyone else, we have a certain belief system that we are operating with. If you're not willing to pause, reflect, and challenge your current beliefs, your behaviors will never advance and upgrade. So if Walter never expanded that belief and was willing to challenge it and upgrade it, the opportunities to partner would have never come into fruition because his belief would have held him down. So my invitation today, after an amazing hour of information, is what do you need to do to challenge your certain belief system in order to be in aligned with better actions so you fulfill the destiny that we all know that we're meant to. So again, Walter, I couldn't agree with more than everybody else. This should have been $1,000 course just for today. So much love for the Alchemist crew. Love you all. Walter, love you, brother. Congratulations. You're going to be the best dad in the world. And I'm honored to be part of that journey, brother. Love you all. Thank you.
Give Billy Roy a round of applause. I'll take the praise. I love it. What else? We got Brian
Hey,
Kent
Walter.
walking around his house. Brian,
Let me
what
ask you a
tip do you
question.
have? Oh, go ahead, Gary.
Let me ask you a question. This was sort of brought up in the chat, but I know a lot of people have different feelings about this, and you've had mixed experience with this. So I want to get your take on it. What do you think about partnerships with family members?
Fantastic. Wow, let's give Gary a round of applause. Great question. I'm glad he caught that. There's a common belief that never do business with family. Who's heard this before? Never do business with family. Never do business with family. That's how you get screwed. You do business with family. Common belief. Does anybody know what the biggest company in the world is? And it's not NVIDIA. The most employees. Who knows what the most employees in the world is? Can you drop it in the chat? Walmart. Thank you, Brian. Thank you. So Walmart is the largest company, 2.5 million employees. And I was just reading Sam Walton's book, Made in America, and I was reading it because I used to work at Walmart, and it's the company that inspired me to start building businesses. And what he said in that book was that he was told not to do business with family, but his wife's father only did business with family. And his wife's father was an attorney, and he told Sam early on, he said, you have to do business with your family. You have to, because those are the people who, no matter what, are trustworthy. Those are the people who, no matter what, will always come back in your life. And he said, you have to do business with your family, your immediate family, your children, your spouse, your brother, your sister, those, your parents. Those are the people for sure that you can trust. Now, I know that not everybody has family like that. And I have certain family. I hired my mom once and I had to fire my mom, but I work with my dad and I've worked with my brother and I work with my very close friends. Everybody that I work with in Alchemist Nation is absolutely personal friends of mine. And what I've discovered, Gary, is that Sam Walton was right. When you work with people who are absolutely committed to, who no matter what, your business will grow. Your business will exceed. And even if it doesn't, you're having a hell of a time. You're having a wonderful time with people that you love and people that you care about. And when things go wrong, you've got the support because they're family, because they're really close friends. Now there's a distinction I have to make. Not all family is created equal, and not all friends are created equal. Not all family is real family, and not all friends are real friends. And so, Gary, you're a perfect example of somebody who's raised their children very, very, very well. I've met most of your 9 children, and I've met most of their spouses and their kids. And so I can personally say for you and the way you've raised your children, absolutely, because you raised them with work ethic. They were raised with a military background. There's a lot of things that have made your children very successful. And that for you, I would say absolutely you can work with your children because, and you just, it's good communication. That's really the key there. And I'll let Brian take a whack at this as well.
Yeah, I will. So I've built several companies with family. The big thing about if you're working with family is the communication, as I always talk about, has to be even more open and direct. If you're the boss, you're the boss. So they got to know that it's not this sitting a family reunion where we're sitting around talking about business. When the decision's made, the owner is the boss. And that therefore they know if you have to fire them, they know why they got fired. And I've had some of my family members tell people, "Oh, you got a good deal because you're related to the boss," and they literally have heard them tell them, "You do not realize what working for him as a family member is like. We're held to a higher standard than every other employee." And I would expect the same if I was working for one or with someone that I was related to. I would want to represent them at a higher caliber than the person that's not invested in them. So as long as you can have that kind of communication with your family members and your friends, you have success.
Let's give Brian Kent a round of applause. He's the author of the book, The R Factor, which stands for relationships, as speaker at the summit last year. And so was Gary as well, spoke on leadership. And Gary does run our operations for Alchemist Station. So all of our live events, him and his wife, partnership, him and Mary Lynn, are integrating all of the events across the community, which is amazing. Brian's on the board of directors, board of advisors, and also Vinny's on the board of advisors. And Vinny and his wife built their investment career together. And now Vinny and his wife and his daughter own Monil Investing, which is the company that everything that encompasses any activity that Vinny does. Is 27 partnerships that Vinny has. They're all managed with his wife and with his daughter. And his son is retired. His son retired in his 40s. So Vinny, he totally his son wanted to do his own path, and he was able to retire early and young. But his wife and daughter are integrated into his business. So yes, I love the idea of doing business with family. Obviously, Dorena is super involved in the business, and when people ask like, "What's it like working with each other?" It's like we have talked like we wouldn't know what to do if we didn't have a business together. Like if we stopped the business, we'd have to go start a new business. It may be a charity, but we would have to work together because that's what we do. She and I just love. We're good at things, and we love being able to trust each other in intimate ways, which a business partnership is very intimate. There's a lot of there's a lot of scary, vulnerable moments. Me, Greg, Dorena have been on calls and been like, "Fuck, this is tough. This is intense." Me and Ron have been on calls where we're just like, "What the f?" Great position, tight spot. Has anybody been in one of those? Great. You're setting yourself up for a great position, but you're in a tight spot. We've been in those, and then we've had amazing runs where it's just like, bro, like I can't. I'm so blessed to be in this with you. And those tight spots, by the way, have also been like, man, I'm so thankful I'm in it with you. Right, of all the people who I could be trapped in this situation with and like have to fight our way out of this and have to, maybe go back and apologize to investors or whatever we had to do. It's like, man, like thank God that I had somebody who had my back no matter what. And I want you to know that you can attract those people. And sometimes family is it, and sometimes friends become it. But just because they were friends and just because they were family doesn't mean that they have the same standards. And I know when I brought my brother on stage at 52 Weeks to Wealth, at the 100 Millionaire Summit last year, he said to me, because I was like, bro, you don't have to take it too seriously. You're doing more than any other speaker when it comes to checking in with me, when it comes to presenting your PowerPoint with me, to asking me what time slot to be on stage, what to do, how to present yourself. You have been more up my ass than any of the other speakers. You care more about this event than any of the other speakers. And trust me, to the other speakers who are on this call right now, I know you do care. I know you put a lot of intention. Each one of you really does take this event very, very seriously. And it means a lot to me. My brother just was like over the top, and I was like, bro, like, you're doing wonderful. He's like, well, okay, I'm gonna do my talk again and make sure I'm off stage in 25 minutes. I've got it down to 27 minutes, but I'm gonna just do it. He's like, I've done it 8 times. I'm just gonna get it so it's 100%, 25 minutes. And I was like, bro, like I appreciate it. He's like, you don't understand. He's like, this is your community. You're my brother. This is your thing. He's like, when I go out there, I represent you. He said, I have to be at my absolute fucking best, Walter, because if I'm not, then I'm showing them that it's okay to have failure in your life. It's okay to have less in your life. And he's like, I know you don't believe in that. Dad didn't raise us to not support each other at the highest level possible, to have the highest standards of any other human being in our lives. So you're doing a thing. I've got to go out there and be the very best that I absolutely can be. So I'm just asking you for support and like help me be that. So when I show up and I'm speaking on your stage, I want to make sure that I'm delivering more than you expect and more than they expect. Show of hands if that's the sort of family you can work with. Those are the sort of people you want in your life. So it isn't always blood. I'm very blessed. My dad raised us very, very well. My parents raised us very well to always respect each other, always work with each other, to handle conflict resolution with each other. Go ahead, Herbert. I see you unmute the mic, brother. Go ahead.
Just a quick question. How do you pick a business partner? Is it based on personality, or is it based on like in the same mindset? How do you pick those people? Because if you can't get along, eventually I think they'll break, and then the business is gonna fail. So how do you go ahead and pick those people who will have like there's a lot at stake in my opinion because it's a business. So how do you pick those people?
Yeah, go ahead, Larry. You want this one?
Yeah, actually, this is fun because I've had a lot of failed business partners.
You can learn a lot from successful people, and you can learn a lot from people who've become successful despite their failures.
Right. So one of the first things I learned, I tell you, it's funny. I actually got it from, who's the book? Why is my brain? Oh well, that's right. I'll find it, but it's okay. But
We'll
one of
fact
the things
check
I
you
learned is
later.
who bring. Yeah, right. Exactly. It'll come back to me later. What different people bring to the table, and you'll see this a lot. You know, actually, if you follow me on Facebook, you'll see people going, "Hey, I want a JV. I know nothing about wholesaling, and I want a JV and take 50% of the deal." And I laugh at all of them. I find it hysterical. And the first thing I do is I say, "What do you bring to the table?" Well, I know a bunch of people. Well, that's not enough to bring. That's not enough to bring to the table. You've got to know. You've got to have something concrete that you bring to the table. You know, I bring 42 years of real estate. Oh, it's almost 43 years now. 43 years of investing in real estate. That's how old I am. You know, when I want to partner with you, well, you want to partner with me, you know, it's because of what I bring to the table, how I can make deals, how I can raise money, how I can find, you know, how I can find the deals, how I can help you with the deals. You know, but then you've got to bring something to the table. You know, if you're going to bring to the table, hey, I'm just a really good guy as a go-getter. No, you're not my partner. I'm sorry. And that happens a lot. So be really careful. And if you're talking to your friend and all of a sudden, hey, we got a great idea. Let's be a partner together. You got to stop for a second and go, oh, I'm about to marry this person in this business. And if I'm going to do all the work and they're going to do nothing, that's not a partnership. That's somebody stealing money from you or riding your coattails. Don't make that mistake. What do they bring to the table? And when you concentrate on what they bring to the table, it will make total sense.
Give Larry Signos a round of applause. Absolutely true. What do they bring
Thank
to the
you.
table? What are they bringing to the game? And I brought Ryan McGovern in because Ryan was one of the first people. We call him part of the OGs, the first people who came through the Alchemist Nation mentorship 5 years ago. He was the fastest person to become financially free within the community, fastest person to go and quit his job and do the thing he loves doing. Now he's a full-time real estate investor. He's got partners. So he's driving probably to go and show a property or do a property, but he and I were on a call. I'm going to just blow up his spot, but Ryan went through a tough spot, man, had a tough deal, tough situation that occurred, and he's digging back out and he's really busting his ass. And he might be making his first multiple 3 figures month from literally just being in such a bad spot that it forced him to be significantly more aggressive and significantly more successful. And he was, like I said, Brian's always been somebody in the community. By the way, show fans if you know Ryan McGovern. If this is somebody you know personally, a handful of the OGs will know him. You have Greg, Mike, Mitch. So he's been around since the beginning, and then we don't see him often. So show fans if you don't know who Ryan McGovern is yet. You're like, not sure. Because he hasn't been around, because he made a mistake and he thought the community would hate him. And he was like, I can't be around these guys. These guys are too positive and helpful. I got on a call with him. I was like, bro, like, we're family still. Like, we do this. Like, we're a team, right? We're more than family. A team goes and builds millionaires. So I asked him, I was like, you still committed? And he's like, yeah, of course. I kind of got some stuff going on. I was like, then you can be around. You can leverage the community, right? You can leverage the education. You can leverage the motivation, the accountability, the support. So let's give Ryan McGovern a big round of applause for jumping back on, being part of the family, being part of the tribe. Unstoppable. Go ahead, Roland Charles. I saw your hand up. I saw the partnership thing. You were like, I got to jump in on this.
Yeah, so I think the most important part of finding a good partner is understanding yourself. And so if you don't know yourself, you don't know what your strengths and your weaknesses are, then you're not ever going to find a good partner to either supplement what you can't do or help you get better at areas you want to be strong in. So first, understand and know yourself, understand and know your deal, then you'll be able to easily pick a partner that's going to help move your project forward.
Spoken like a rental property investment Zen master. Let's give Roland Charles a round of applause. So best lesson, Herbert, is identify yourself. Mission of Millions will help you do that. It'll help you figure out what you do, what your strength is, and why you do what you do. And then it is go out and seek out the complementary people, the people who have the skills. Just because I like them doesn't mean I'm going to partner with them. There's a lot of people I like. In fact, I was asked recently, how do you choose your partners? Like, well, I get asked a lot of times, hey, will you invest in this deal? Will you invest in this deal? And people don't like it when I say this. They can't stand it. I'm like, I only invest people in my mastermind. I'm like, oh, well, bro, like if that's like that, it fucking is. It is like that. Because I need to qualify who I'm going to do deals with. How else can I qualify them? How else can I ensure that they evaluate deals the way I say? That they raise capital the way I want capital raised. They don't take the last dollar from somebody. They only invest with what makes sense to invest. How do I know for sure that this person's got to stay in it? By the way, the worst thing that could ever happen is a partner backs out mid-deal. throws a deal sideways, loses a deal. Like, so how can I ensure that this person and I are on the same exact page? We got to spend some time together. Like the mastermind allows us to do that, allows us to build relationships, allows us to, see each other and activate with each other. And it allows me to have other people within my tribe check on that person, do deals with that person, test it out, see if they can do things at a small scale before we do bigger deals. You have to have some way to filter people. You have to have a way to confirm that this person's serious or not. And I have found that it doesn't have to be my mastermind, but if they're in a mastermind I'm in other masterminds outside of the Alchemist Station mastermind. I pay a lot of money to be in these masterminds. Those are also people I would do deals with, right? Me and Larry have our own little mastermind. Me and Mike and Mitch have our own little mastermind. Me and Gary have our own little mastermind. Me and Greg have our own little mastermind. Little things that we do together. They're our little group that we get together and we make sure that we're learning each other and figuring things out. Me, Mitch, and Mike, we call it the Three Musketeers. We got our own little mastermind that we just like kind of check on and see what is happening with each other and what opportunities might evolve from that. So, Herb, I hope that helps. Is spend some time with them, and they gotta have killer freaking skills. Go ahead, Ryan. I know you want to jump in on this one.
And also don't make this mistake. Real estate investors make this mistake all the time. They're like, hey, I found the deal. I got the greatest deal ever, and it's a great deal, right? And what do? They partner with somebody because they have the money. Don't make that mistake. That's not a partner. That's a money lender. So now you've given up half your deal to somebody who has money when you could have just borrowed the money for 8, 10, 12% and not give up half your deal. Don't make that mistake. And the biggest mistake is partnering with a contractor. Oh.
All our contractors are like, fuck, wait.
No, this is a big mistake. I got the deal, I got the money, I got the house, and it needs to be repaired. And then they partner with a contractor because they think the contractor is going to do it for free. And yeah, he's going to do it for free because he's going to take half your deal. But here's what he's not going to do. He's never going to complete the job. And the reason he's never going to complete the job is it's all your money, it's all your deal, it's all your time, it's all your effort, it's all your risk. And this guy, he can work on this project and not get paid till it's done. Or Galter calls him up and says, hey, I got a project to work on. I'll give you $100,000. And the guy goes, whoop, I'm going to go work on this for a little while, make my $100,000. I'll come back to your project. And if you make that mistake, you're going to go broke. So never partner with a lender, never partner with a contractor unless they bring other things to the table. A lot of other things to the table.
Give Larry Steinhaus a round of applause. It's actually a pretty good general rule. Unless you're Jamie Uberto, who is a wonderful alchemist and committed to finishing his projects, in which case it makes him a rare contractor who finishes things.
Well, he
Mitch,
can finish the project, but is he a partner in the deal? Is that the story?
Oh, no, Jamie's partners with Billy, so.
Oh, wait, but you know what? I'm going to ask you, Jamie, because actually this is great because what else did you bring to the table besides just that you're a contractor?
Looking for deals, analyzing deals, doing all that kind of stuff with the deals, also doing a lot of the groundwork.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. As long as they're bringing something else, they'll make a great partner.
This is fire.
Mitch, you got a quote for us?
No, listen, we could put people on the hot seat all day. You know how we do it. But what we need to do is give Walter a round of applause because in about an hour or so, he's got a baby shower that's happening. So he needs to get geared up and get in the zone because it's about to be on. So thank you every Saturday morning for crushing it. And we're about to celebrate you and Darina's new born coming soon.
Coming soon. Let's give Mitch Jorsky a round of applause. Before we drop off, Ryan McGovern, it's been too long since we heard your voice. Give us some words of wisdom.
I'll make this quick since Darina's going to come up next and really drag you down the stairs. So yeah, it's good to be back. You're going to see my face a lot more in here. I remember going through this partnerships call, years ago, and the same principles still stand today. One thing I could relate to with that is it took me 3 years to find the right partner. I burned through not a lot of people, but a handful of people that just didn't work, and for a variety of reasons. So, one of the important things, like you were saying earlier, is don't rush into it. Take your time to find the right person, because once you find that right person, and it might not just be one person, but it could be 2 or 3 people. Taking that time, learning from things, becoming a mentee to certain people is really going to push you to the next level. I went through something pretty severe in the last year. That's a story for another day. But, for me, partnering up with a couple of other individuals, it was, they have the money, but I find the deals. And I've been able to lock down 12 deals in the last 3 months. And for them, they're fronting the money, but I'm finding the deal. So everybody plays a different role in every transaction. So definitely take your time with it. It's one of the most important things. It's so tough to do it alone. I tried to do it. And you're holding yourself back because everybody holds a different piece of the puzzle. So super excited to be back here. You're going to see me more. This is where my whole investing career started. And I would like to return the favor the best way that I can. So it was a good talk that I had with you the other day. Super appreciative of that and really looking forward to be back and continuing to grow within the group.
Give Ryan McGovern a round of applause. Welcome back. Glad to have you back, brother.
Let's go.
Let's go. So each of you has a commitment to make this week. You don't have to find your partners. I just want you to start opening your heart, opening your mind, and start looking for them. Like Ryan said, it can take time. It can take years. The goal is to 3 years from now be in a different place, be in a place where you're at a higher level, where you're doing bigger deals, where you've reached many of your goals, and it's probably going to become because of the partnerships. And something that we've talked about, you've heard it now in this little session here with the Q&A, is that you may have partners change out on you. You may have to shift partners. You may have to add partners. You may remove partners. Vinny said this to me the other day. He had a great partner for years, helped him buy millions of dollars worth of real estate, millions and millions. And then one day that partnership just was no longer the right partnership. And it took him way longer than he thought it should have to exit that partnership and transition into the new partnerships that he has. And now he has 27 separate partnerships and that he's built over the last 14 years. And he said, my life has excelled and skyrocketed because of these partners. And he's very honest about it. Off camera, he and I spoke. He's like, he said, Walter, this is the best decision you've ever made, is to bring on the right partners and to let some old partners go and let them kind of just do their thing and retire them out and shift the roles of the partnerships, because that's the best thing for them. It's the best thing for you. And he said, you are going to skyrocket now that you're taking these new partners on. And I just want you to have that same belief system that you are great as you are, for sure. And you're going to have to be great for a time as you are by yourself doing your thing. And you're also hunting for those right people, because those right people are going to skyrocket you, just like the book itself is rocket fuel. That is the premise of what the right people will be. You're attracting the right people at all times. You are the right person to partner with. You're constantly improving yourself and becoming a better and better partner. The 52 Weeks to Wealth is designed for everybody who wants to level their business up with good, caring people who care about their success, who care about their bodies, their minds, and more than just making money, but making a lifestyle, giving back, contributing. So if you're one of those people who wants to give back and wants to contribute, then my strong suggestion is to take the right action today and allow a new partner into your life in a small scale and test them. Also, I'll give you the opportunity to bring somebody to the 52 Weeks to Wealth to test them out. Each week, bring somebody new, test if they stick around. If something I say offends them, they're probably not the one. If something I say offends you, I would really look into it and send me a message. Maybe there's something we can figure out and work on together. But if you're bringing somebody to this every single week, eventually you're going to find somebody who's really in alignment with you. I aim my best to only give good quality advice that will help you grow and scale your business. Show of hands, if that's what you've seen so far, only the best gets to you. I work very hard on myself and beforehand with my mentors and my guides to make sure that I'm only giving you the most concentrated, best advice so that you can move forward and scale your business at the maximum speed that is possible. Are there sometimes ways to do it faster? Absolutely. But if they represent too much risk, I won't put them on this call. Is that fair? But in a one-on-one session, I may give you a slightly more aggressive strategy. So if I have one-on-one with you and your strategy is slightly more aggressive, a little bit more in tune, it's because of you and what you're capable of doing. And so I just want to be very clear that if I've given a standard here, but I've given you something slightly more aggressive, please don't tell everybody what I've given you as advice. Stick to the standardized version of what we're doing here in the 52 Weeks to Wealth, because this is to help the most amount of people. But the one-on-ones with me and the other business consultants, that's designed to specialize and speed you up to that next level. Show fans that's okay. We have levels because there are different people. Some of you in here are worth 5 million, 10 million, 20 million. Some of you are still looking at that first 6 figures. It's all okay because we all rise up together. So that being said, cheers to your success. When you have a choice, always work with the best. I'll see you in the next one. Let's give all of our millionaires and coaches a big round of applause. Donate a lot of time to this community. We appreciate everything you guys do. And to our leaders, over 21 community leaders, 30 in the making, 32 events starting. Let's give our leaders a big round of applause for all the work you guys do behind the scenes and at the live events, in person, making the real change happen. I'll see you in the next one.